Good morning, my friends. And we are back. And I see my three friends are here. Arlene, Lori, and Jane. So glad you're here today. This has been a fabulous conference. And since you have three fabulous presenters here together, we're going to start a little early so I can give them the floor. So I'm going and I'll be watching you, ladies.
Okay, I guess we're beginning, huh?
Yeah.
Good. Linda, thank you so much for inviting us. We are really the three amigas of falls prevention here in Pinellas County and have done a lot of interaction with many groups trying to promote falls prevention because of our passion and because of our love for this. Most of us get into some type of senior service because of a caregiving experience. So not only do we have compassion for what you're doing out there, but we certainly have empathy. And I want you to know that we know that what you're doing is the most rewarding and most often most difficult thing that you're doing in your lifetime. But hang in there. We love you. And any way we can help you, we're here. And of course, thanks much to Linda because she's just the gal who cares for the caregivers, plus.
No problem. And any questions that come in as they come in, I'll let you know, okay?
Okay, thanks so much, Linda. We're part of a Falls-Free Florida coalition, and it is the whole state of Florida now. It started out as a committee within an organization for Better Living for Seniors, which is underneath the Area Agency on Aging in our county. We wanted to expand and have more than just committee members. So we took it to the entire state of Florida, and we encompass a lot of the Area Agency on Agings in our state. Also, we have charitable organizations, senior service businesses, government entities. When we actually joined forces with Regional 911 and the County Community Service, the Human Services Department, we were able to provide boots on the ground to be able to get information to the community members, which is so important. Our focus is on awareness, education, and resources. Most of the coalitions in the United States only focus on falls prevention 1 week out of the year. We run 365 days. You'll often see Jane, Lori, and I on a Sunday or a Saturday at a senior health fair or speaking to a group at a church or something because we just are desperate to get the word out because we know it works.
Plus we have a few seniors in town.
Yeah, Florida is the gateway to heaven, you know.
Yeah.
So if you want the falls prevention information, a great resource for you is NCOA, National Coalition on Aging, again, ncoa.org. And if you search in the search bar at the upper right-hand corner, you can put in State Falls Prevention Coalition, and you can find the information to contact your own state. Now, some states don't have a coalition. There's only 3 that don't have any. Many have falls prevention coalitions in the works. But if you can't get the information, we have our information in the chat box. You are more than welcome to contact any one of us, and we're going to help you. So don't feel like you're out there alone trying to search for falls prevention information because we got it. Okay. People ask me a lot, how much do falls cost? And I tell them that the latest published resource for that figure would come from the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta. And the CDC tells us that in 2015, the cost of non-fatal falls was $50 billion with a B dollars a year. 38 billion came from Medicare and Medicaid, but 12 billion came from people like you and me through private pay. So that's a lot of money. Falls are expensive. Falls affect the entire family and friends in your community around you. As you caregivers well know, when your loved one is sick, It's time off of work. It's additional expenses. It's a lot of stress and strain on the household. And it's really hard to do all the things you would normally do with the addition of taking full-time care of someone. So falls are devastating, and we want to prevent them as much as possible. So count with me for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What happened in those 11 seconds? Well, I'll tell you. Every 11 seconds in the United States, a senior adult 65 and over is being treated for a fall in an emergency room somewhere, again, in the United States. Falls are the leading cause of death and injury for people 65 and over. But the good news is that most falls are preventable. You're probably saying, well, how can I prevent a fall? We've got some good resources today for you, and many, many more that we would need 3 days to tell you about all that we have, but we only have a couple minutes. So to get on with it, if you go to ncoa.org, you can download this guide, and it's the 6 steps to prevent a fall. This is the basis for all of our educational materials that we use, and it's the cornerstone of our Falls Prevention Coalition. So the first step in preventing falls would be to enroll in a good balance and exercise program. Your local area agency on aging offers many evidence-based falls prevention programs. Some of them are Matter of Balance, Steady, Tai Chi, and others. Your local YMCA and your nearby gyms offer free classes through the Silver Sneakers program through some of your Advantage insurance plans, which also have classes online. Another great resource is your local senior center. They offer a variety of classes, not only for balance and exercise, but for socialization and for crafts and for getting together with like-aged people. And they're just such a tremendous resource. You need to be able to know that you have help there, and they are more than happy to help you.
You know, Arlene, I tell my caregivers, if you rest, you rust, and you have to move to lube. So, you know, I go to Curves. I go to Curves 3 mornings a week. And there's one lady that's 90 something years old who comes there, and she doesn't even move that much, but she's there and she's social. Right. And that's what's important.
Well, like our friends, Cindy and Cynthia say, motion is lotion.
Yeah.
So any little bit helps.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Linda, for that. Number 2 is ask your doctor to assess your risk of falling. If your loved one has had a fall, it's extremely important that you let your doctor know that. They can give you a falls risk assessment in the office or give you a referral to an occupational therapist or certainly a physical therapist. But that risk assessment is really necessary. The National Coalition on Aging, again, ncoa.org, has a website that has a free online falls-free checkup. So you would again go to ncoa.org, go and search falls free checkup. It's a simple and easy thing to do, and it will score your falls risk and give you recommendations on what you can do to prevent a fall. That information never goes anywhere unless you want to email it to someone like your doctor or a health provider, a therapist. You can do that, or you can email it to your family members if you want, but rest assured that information only stays with you online.
And Arlene, I suggest to people to make sure that you let your doctor know you fell, because lots of people fall and they're embarrassed or whatever. But the chances of, without doing something about it, you're going to fall again.
Yeah, there's a 40% chance once you have a fall of having a second fall, and usually the second fall is the most devastating one. It's so important. And I know it's so hard to let your family know that you had an injury or that you had a fall because there's a fear of, oh, now they're going to put me in a home, or they're going to take me out of my home, and then they're going to make me live with them. And it's very hard for that aging problem that we have. But rest assured that if you don't get the help and you have a second fall, you're really putting yourself in harm's way and extreme danger. Now we're here to tell you, again, falls are the leading cause of death and injury in the United States. So it's extremely important that you take measures to prevent the falls. Number 3 is to review your medications with your doctor or pharmacist. Make sure that you're going to bring your list of meds or your meds in a bag, okay, to your primary doctor visits. Good. And your specialist visits. Many times we see that one doctor doesn't have complete information that another doctor is giving. And without that information, they could be prescribing something that will interact not well. So it's extremely important that you not only tell them about your medications, but that you go over any self-medications that you're doing over the counter. And that includes vitamins, okay, and any cold medications or whatever that you're taking, because some of these things have an interaction with the drugs that you're taking, and it can cause dizziness and certainly can cause falls. So we don't want any adverse reactions. Make sure that your doctor has the most complete list. Okay. And don't be embarrassed if you're taking a diet pill, then tell them you're taking a diet pill. Probably tell you don't do that because it doesn't interact well with your medication. But I'm not a doctor. Number 4 is to get your vision and hearing checked annually. Poor vision is a leading cause of fall. If you have trouble seeing the ends of stairs or variations of flooring levels, colored tape can be placed in those areas, okay, very inexpensively. There are spectral colors, which are the easiest really for people with decreased vision. We recently had a representative from Ponte Giulio. It's an Italian company for grab bars, and they have a myriad of colors, but the ones that are best for people with decreased vision is blue, green, and red. Again, those are the spectral colors. This is a grab bar that would be easily seen by someone with decreased vision. Oh, it matches my shirt. See how pretty it is? Yeah. Okay. Now they have a lot of other colors too. It's like a literal rainbow. Come in a color chart like this, little rainbow. They have every color you could probably imagine. I don't see deep purple though. Oh yeah, I do. It's in here. Okay. So don't be afraid of thinking that you have an old looking institutional bathroom if you install grab bars. Okay. Some companies call their product jewelry for the bathroom, and it is stunning. It is an accessory for you, but it also provides safety. Increased lighting should be considered as well, so that you are able to see better. I know at 78, I most of the time have to have so many lights on in my house, and my electric bill is probably zooming all the time. But it's my vision is decreasing, and I really have a difficulty unless I have a lot of light. Don't use a bulb wattage that's higher than the rating for your light fixture. That could be extremely dangerous. You might think that going to a 100-watt bulb is the answer to your lamp, but maybe your lamp only takes maximum 80 or 60. So you have to look inside for the UL rating, and it'll tell you what the maximum amount of wattage is for those bulbs. A good resource is to go to a home improvement store. They have a huge display of bulbs, and they have people really knowledgeable on the type of bulbs that would be probably best for you. I can tell you that the LED and CFL bulbs, okay, are energy efficient and super long lasting. So that reduces the need to climb up on a ladder and replace those burnt out bulbs. Now, do not climb up on a ladder to replace it and do it yourself. That's just not a good thing. I was recently at a Honeywell retirement group and speaking about falls prevention. And a lady came in the wheelchair while I was speaking, and with a cast on her arm and a cast on her leg. And after I spoke, she raised her hand, and I said, "Do you have a question?" She said, "I recently fell off a ladder." She said, "I thought I was just going to replace my light bulb." She said, "And I got dizzy. I don't know what happened. I blacked out, and there I was on the floor, and finally woke up, and someone was able to call 911. So it's just not a great idea. You know, there are organizations that can help you. So many volunteer senior services out there that can come and do that light bulb for you. But another thing to remember, if you're going to redecorate or you want to replace light fixtures, always make sure that you're doing it with the principle of redundancy so that there is more than one bulb. If one bulb burns out, there are either one more or two more or three more that'll give you some light until that bulb can be changed. But in no circumstance do we want you to go up on a ladder and do that for yourself. That's what the able-bodied caregivers are. Now, if you're an older caregiver, we certainly don't want you to do that. Again, there's help from churches, senior organizations that can help you. And there's many of those.
For something that it's easy as a light bulb, just ask your neighbor, your young neighbor, you know, and don't be embarrassed about it. I was saying yesterday, I can't carry a case of water anymore, and I'm afraid. So, it's sure they put it in my trunk. When I come home, I take out 4 bottles at a time, and take them out. It's okay. I'd rather do that than fall.
And that's a hard thing to come to realize. It's a hard thing to make that self-realization. I know I always thought I could fly, until one day when I got involved more in falls prevention, I thought, do I really want to be a burden to my family and friends? And after spending some time in the hospital after a fall. So don't just think of yourself, think of the other people that would have to take care of you if you fall. So that's a great point. And again, it's a hard thing to do. It really is hard. I wrestle with it almost every day.
Well, you know what? If my neighbor fell trying to change a bulb and didn't ask somebody else, I would feel terrible.
Yes.
So I'm begging them, hear me, neighbors. If we just need to help each other.
Exactly. Hearing tests should be done annually also. You can get a complimentary hearing evaluation from most hearing aid providers. And people with mild hearing loss are nearly 3 times more likely to fall than with each 10 decibels of hearing loss. Now, sound is measured by decibels. So to give you an idea of what that means, a whisper is 30 decibels. Normal conversation is 60 decibels. Dog barking, most dog barking, I think mine is a little bit more, 80 to 90 decibels. And motorcycle engine racing is 90 decibels. Okay, so when they tell you how many decibels your hearing is, you're going to have an idea of where you fall. But it's really important because the inner ear affects your balance. So please make sure that your loved ones are getting that hearing and vision every year. Number 5 is remove tripping hazards in your home. 60% of the falls occur in the home. So install railings on both sides of the stairways and don't put things on the stairs, to be able to carry up later. That's just not a good idea because you just may not see it, and that causes falls. Grab bars are great for one-step entry doors. We seem to be doing a lot of it. And we use these Ponte Giulio grab bars, especially in Florida, because they don't get hot. Metal, when the sun is shining on it, you try to grab it and it's not really a good idea because you're not going to be able to get a good grip. It's too hot. Cold winter, this vinyl coating will weather the storm in any climate. Let me put it that way. The most common installation of a grab bar would be a 30-inch diagonal grab bar. Okay, on the back wall of your shower. And this helps with sit to stand if you have to use a chair, okay, and then stand to sit. And then a 24-inch grab bar in a vertical position on the wall outside of the tub or shower to easily grab to help with exit and entry. And I always suggest using 1 1/4-inch grab bars because they're easier to grab. And people with arthritis or small, tiny fingers will be able to grab those much better. Institutional grab bars are usually 1 1/2 inches, and that 1/4 of an inch makes a big difference. So 1 1/4 inches in diameter is the best. Never, ever put up a suction cup grab bar because they have mold that collects behind them. And in the box of directions, it says there's a disclaimer. It says in those suction cup grab bars, this is not designed for weight-bearing use. Really? Is this something that you want your loved one to use and rely on when they're trying to grab something because they're slipping and falling? So please don't use them. They just create a lot of falls. Make sure that your traffic patterns are clear and night lights illuminate the pathway, especially to the bathroom. Electrical cord should be secured against the wall, and you must always be aware of your little furry friends like mine, leaving their treats or their scattered toys around so that I think they're trying to trip me, actually. No, no, but again, awareness is such a big thing. Secure your bath mats and throw rugs. Better yet, throw out the throw rugs. Okay. The tape, the double-sided tape, if it gets dirty and dusty and sandy, it will not adhere properly. You're better off, and I know it's the most difficult thing for most people, is to get rid of those throw rugs. Yep.
There you go.
Thank you, Lori. This is our prop specialist there. Closed-toed slippers with solid soles and everyday footwear should be available at home. And slippers with no backs and socks without those rubberized bottoms have caused so many falls. In fact, we have someone from our Better Living for Seniors organization that was going to sneak out early in the morning before anyone of her neighbors were up in her robe and slippers. And her slippers were the fuzzy ones with no backs. She fell by her mailbox on her head, nearly lost her eyesight, had a concussion, and was really in a bad way for several months. So it's not worth it. They might be cute and cozy, but they're not safe. And number 6, the final one, is to enlist your family support to stay safe. It takes a village, a literal village, to help prevent falls. Again, don't climb up on a step stool or ladder. Ask someone to do it for you or hire a handyman. Having the Boy Scouts, churches, or senior organizations come and help you, or just a neighbor ask for help. And they love helping you. That's the greatest thing. You not only get the gift of their help, but they give the gift of giving the help. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And having a falls risk assessment of your home is recommended. AARP recommends that either an occupational therapist or home modification expert with the CAPS designation, which is the Certified Aging in Place Specialist designation, through course study from the National Association of Home Builders. And to find a CAPS specialist, you can go to 800-368-6242 or visit NAHB for National Association of Home Builders, NAHB.org, and look for Find a Certified Aging in Place Specialist, and whoever is in your area will pop up. AARP has also an excellent booklet called HomeFit Guide, and you can order that online at AARP, or you can search HomeFit at AARP.org, and you can look at the guide online. But it's a room-by-room tour of what you need to keep falls free. Be aware, be alert, and do not rush. Okay, those are our last things. And also be careful of bending and reaching. Bending and reaching. Those are the 2 things that cause falls the most too.
Well, that's why I'm thinking you might have to rearrange your kitchen so that your pots and pans aren't on the bottom anymore. Maybe they need to be on the second shelf in the pantry where you can reach it. You don't want, the stuff that you use every day, try to keep it, at between your waist and your eyes, that kind of level, because so many people fall trying to get that spaghetti pot down there or bending over to feed their dog. So think about that.
Yeah, and there's something called Rev Shelf, which is on a hydraulic that pulls out and pulls down so that you never have to reach higher than.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Okay, because the handle comes down, you pull it down, and it's very easy. And even microwaves, people are not putting the microwaves above the stove anymore. They're putting them on the kitchen counter because that reaching for something hot can cause a problem. But home modification is an entirely different subject, and we can address that some other time.
Okay.
Because I could talk for the next 3 days on it. So I'm going to introduce to you my second amiga, Jane Merlin, who's the project coordinator of senior services for the Human Services Department of Pinellas County. So thank you. And again, stay falls free. Here's Jane.
Thanks so much, Arlene. What great information. Boy, that's going to be hard to follow, but I will do my very best. And I've been taking some notes along the way too, just to try to hone in on some of the things that you said that we can help reiterate that, because you can't hear some of these things often enough. And I think that most of us probably live in communities that are very rich in resources, but how do you find them? And you don't know what you need until you need it. So now you need something. Where are you going to go to find it? I think that's such a big challenge for caregivers. And so Arlene touched on something early on in the tips, and that was medical providers. You and your loved ones are probably already connected to the healthcare community. And most often, at least I know in my situation, my doctors are asking me if I have concerns about falling, if I have fallen. Let's be real, folks. Tell the truth. Let them know. If you have a concern, don't hold back. That's the worst thing you can do. You need to be honest about what is happening within your medical history so that we can, again, prevent the fall and prevent the call. Making sure that you are talking about the medications, checking your footwear. You know, if you're seeing a podiatrist on a regular basis, that's a perfect opportunity to ensure you have the right footwear. I know that since I've been involved on the Falls Prevention Coalition, I have changed my ways, and you're probably not going to see me wearing those flip-flops that Lori's holding up. No, I don't own those. I will not wear those. And I've had to say goodbye to heels recently too, because I've got back issues. And so I have to be aware of my limitations in that area. And being a member of the Fall Prevention Coalition, can you imagine how embarrassing it would be if I fell? So
Exactly. I say that all the time. I have to be really careful.
yeah, exactly. You know, I know that Officer Joel Quattlebaum with the City of Largo Police Department was a presenter yesterday. And I have to tell you that he has put together some amazing senior empower events this fall. And he's going to be doing a total of 4 this fall. And I've been to 3 of them already, sharing some information about falls prevention. But that's one example. Check in your community calendars to see if there are senior events, senior fairs, senior expos that are available, because most often they're going to have some really valuable information for you and a lot of tips and resources that can help you in a myriad of situations. But certainly falls is a major concern for everybody. So that's a great way to find some additional resources. Go to those senior fairs, because they do have a lot of great information and things that you didn't know that you needed. So be sure to check those out. And it's a great way to interact with others as well. I have to tell you that I had a number of people who came up to my table and picked up the 6 steps for fall prevention, and they were using a cane or they were using a walker. And so I thanked them for using that, and they shared with me I fell. And so this is why I'm doing it now. So I say good for them, and keep it up, because they are a good example. Arlene mentioned earlier about being social and engaged. And for many individuals that may have Alzheimer's or dementia, the thought of going out might be a concern. They may be worried about having someone being able to understand what is happening with their loved one who has dementia or Alzheimer's. And we know that there is a risk of falling there. Check with your local organizations about dementia-friendly dining, about purple dining. Those are restaurants that have been specially trained in how to understand working with individuals and their loved ones who may have dementia. So that provides another opportunity for you to continue going out and being engaged. And if you keep moving, of course, that's going to be important to help maintain your balance.
So if you go to one, like a local restaurant often, and they know you and they know your loved one has some issues, they'll help you out. There are a couple of restaurants nearby where you can actually call and order the food ahead of time, so that when they get in and they sit down, the food is there right away. And you can also order the food for your loved one cut up already. So when they get their food, it's cut up already, and they don't feel embarrassed that you need to cut their food. So stay local and get to know your people and let your people know what's going on, because they're there to help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point. So how do you look for some of the other online resources that some of the other speakers have talked about? Well, the first one that comes to my mind is your local area agency on aging. They have a lot of great resources, and when you call, they can do a screening to learn more about your situation, what's going on. They can try to help connect you to what's going to be most helpful for your situation. And so if you don't know who your local area agency on aging is, you can start with your state's Department of Elder Affairs, and they're going to be able to help you find the area in your region that you can connect to. The National Council on Aging that Arlene mentioned also has some great tip sheets. They've got videos and other resources that you can utilize that are super helpful. The National Institute on Aging is another one. And the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, they also have some really good information about falls prevention. So there's a lot out there. It's just a matter of doing a little bit of searching and finding out what some of the issues are that you're trying to help resolve. And you can also see if there's a local fall prevention coalition in your area to see what resources they have. There are some grants and financial assistance that might be available to help you with some home modifications. Many things you can do that are low cost or no cost. But if you do need some financial support, I would recommend that you reach out to your local municipality, your county government. Most likely it's going to be in a community development department, a housing department. Those are going to be the agencies that can help identify if there are programs in your area. And the other thing I want to let you know is that sometimes Medicaid and Medicare may have modification programs that you can take advantage of. Now, there are obviously going to be some eligibility requirements for many of these programs. So you just want to be able to get with them directly and find out what they have and what those requirements are. Another resource is the Solar Energy Loan Fund, and that's available in a number of states, including Florida and our neighbors in Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, Alabama, and Nevada. Now, they provide some low interest loans for improvements, and it also includes mobile homes. And that's often something that people have a hard time finding support with. So you want to check those out, and they're expanding. So be watching in your area and see if that program might be available. That's a not-for-profit organization.
That's good to know.
Arlene, I'm sorry?
That's good to know, especially since they'll help with mobile homes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's difficult to find any kind of financial support sometimes, but to know somebody is out there that is trying to assist those in a mobile home community is very helpful. And Arlene, of course, talked about the Area Agency on Aging. I'm sorry, the AARP. That has a wealth of information online. Again, they've got the HomeFit program, they've got other tip sheets, they've got videos and other resources. So be sure that you keep up with what's happening on their website to identify some of the strategies that you can do. Again, some of these are low cost or no cost items. So definitely do what you can to take advantage of what's available out there. September, as we all may know, is Fall Prevention Awareness Month. And we are all very busy during that month doing a lot of presentations and outreach. So keep an eye out in your area for any special events that might be coming up in September that are specifically related to fall prevention. The other thing you might think about is if you are in a homeowner association that has meetings each month, or you're in a mobile home community that we talked about before, see if they have programs. A lot of our communities do have wonderful programs, and they're looking for presentations to provide their residents that will help enrich their lives. And so we've been fortunate to be able to do some of those in our community. So see if that's an available opportunity for you to have a presentation. If they don't already do one, maybe you can ask the center's recreation person or their coordinator to see if that is something that they might be willing to do. We've got a lot of great senior community centers here and recreation centers in Pinellas County. I know there's a lot of them throughout the country. And that's another avenue that has special events. Libraries. Libraries are a wealth of information and resources that you can avail yourselves to. Another unique thing that we do in Pinellas County is we have a local theater group. It's a seniors group called Sages, and they are very involved in doing plays with a purpose. And they've done one on fall prevention, and it's called Denying Gravity. And so that play walks through someone's life who has had a fall, what happens during the recovery process, and things that may go well, and maybe some things that don't go well. And so what we find with this play, it's entertaining, it's presented in a really wonderful way, and audiences really enjoy coming to the play. It's socialization, it gets them out, they're learning something in a fun way. And invariably, every time we do one of these plays, individuals will come up to us and let us know that they're going to change their behavior. I remember one individual had a cane in the trunk of her car, and she told me that and said that she's now going to get that cane out of the trunk of her car and she's going to start using it. Another one said to me that they're going to start looking for a matter of balance class so they can keep moving and improve their balance. So, you know, we talk about the passion that we have for this, and that's what keeps us going. It keeps us going to know that people are hearing our message and they're changing their behavior. We also heard from a lot of people that have had a fall, and they share their experience with us. And I appreciate that they do that, because it helps us in our work to help keep each other safe. I want to remind
the nice thing about Sages too is you can bring up those conversations you don't want to have in a joking manner. You know, you have a couple of laughs. I know people that have couldn't have the conversation with their parents about grab bars or whatever. So they just took them to the Sages show. And then it opened up for conversation. So that's a good thing too.
It really
and
does.
Jane should know about the Sages organization because she was an actress in the last production of Denying Gravity as a volunteer. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. And you know, it's funny, Arlene, because when you had we're talking about moving things around in the kitchen for easier reach, I actually played one of the granddaughters of the individual who fell, and that was one of the things that I did. I helped rearrange her kitchen to make it easier. So yeah. Now, there was also a documentary made as a result of that play because it was so successful. And so a group came in that does a lot of work for PBS, and they did a documentary called Saving Claire. And that's available. So if your community organization is looking for something that could be very helpful for residents, that's available. And I know Lori and Arlene both have information about that. We've been able to share that with a number of communities across the country. So we're very excited and proud to be able to do that. Something real important that I want to say to all of our caregivers out there is to take time for yourself. You know, we know how difficult it can be to be a caregiver, and you have a lot on your plate, a lot going on, but it's important that you remember to take care of yourself. And so there are a lot of programs that can help you do that, that are at no cost. Check with your local YMCA about some wonderful exercise programs that are available. Community centers may be offering some yoga that would be a great way to reduce stress. And something else I want to just say, and that is the power of saying yes. Yes, I need help. So when you have somebody in your circle, a friend, a family member, a neighbor who knows that you're going through something and is offering you some help and they want to know, how can I help you? Maybe make a list and think about some of the things that you wish that you could do. Make it a wish list about you. I wish I had 10 minutes that I could just have a nice cup of tea or a coffee and just kind of be by myself. And so the next time that friend reaches out to you, ask them, do you have time to come over just for a few minutes so I could take a little break? Something so simple could be such a relief for you. And I think it's something that we all need to remember, the importance of taking care of ourselves. Let them, they want to help you. They want to provide that as a gift to you. I think we all need those opportunities to take a break and to reset. It's important not for only our mental health, but our physical health, because we know that caregiving can add a lot of stress. And that stress is certainly going to be a contributor to your health and your ability to maybe have a fall. And so we'd like to prevent that. So I want to thank you all for letting us be part of your caregiver journey. Please know that you're not alone. Everybody who's participating in this conference has got your back in some way. We're providing resources. We want you to know that we care about you, and we want you to be successful as you go through this journey. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I know Lori's going to have some great information as well.
You're muted, Linda.
I got it. My mouse was being crazy. I just wanted to say thank you, Jane. And I want to just say one thing before Lori starts. People do want to help you. You know, shortly after my mother passed away, I was in the supermarket and somebody came up to me and said, how you doing? And I said, I'm doing okay. And she said to me, I'm sick of hearing that from you, Linda. She said, I have to tell you, when you took care of your mother, you stole my joy. And I said, I did what? And she said, I could see you swimming in quicksand. And every time I asked to help you, you said, no, I'm okay. And you never gave me the opportunity to meet your mother. So it's a little harsh, but think about that. There are people, and you know what? By giving yourself a little break, you give your loved one a break too, because you may be the bomb caregiver. And no one can do it like you. But I promise you, sometimes under their breath, they're saying, would you please go away for a couple hours and leave me alone? So, you know, I've had caregivers that say, I never realized I was gritting my teeth. So just think about that. People do want to help you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shut.
No, well, welcome everyone. My name is Lori Collins and I work for Pinellas County 911. And we are part of the coalition. I'm super excited. I work with these ladies every day and I love every minute of it. But one of the things I want to talk to you about and kind of bring everything that we've talked about together is preventing the fall and preventing the call. And that's really the call to 911. So one of the things in Pinellas County is we receive the largest number of calls that we get for a medical 911 emergency is for falls. And whether that's a fall and not even including the lift assist that we do on a regular basis. So last year in Pinellas County alone, we had over 28,000 calls for falls in Pinellas County. And basically at any given time, 16 of our 68 ambulances are on some type of a fall call. So the fact that we are there to help you as an emergency response, as a safety net for your loved one or the person that you caregive for, that's an amazing thing. That's what we do. And when in doubt, call 911. If they have a fall, call 911. So, but the biggest thing that Arlene and Jane and everyone has talked about is the fact that statistically, within 48 hours of a fall, if you do nothing to change that, you will have a 40% chance of having another 911 call. Within, a week, you have another 40% chance of ending up in the hospital. And if you do nothing, 1.1% chance within that month of dying from that fall. So generally, we see from a lot of our patients 5 times. They've fallen 5 times before they actually now have fallen where they are scared enough that they need emergency help or that it's an issue. And yes, that is an amazing amount of fall calls that we go on. There's not a time at the 911 center that we do not see on our screen fall, heart attack, something, 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 fall, fall, fall. So it's one of the things that we also want to talk to you about as caregivers is using the emergency system for activities of daily living. So this is a really hard issue. We just did a symposium with our assisted living facilities. And one of the things is that statistically in our county, 85 out of the top 100 call addresses that we get are some type of a care facility, whether it's residential, whether it's a facility or any small to large facility. 85 out of the top 100 addresses are the ones that are calling 911. Out of those 85, the large majority are for falls. And so what our goal as this coalition is to, number one, make sure that we prevent the fall, that we give all the information, all the ideas, all the things that we can do. And there's times that when you have a care person that your loved one or your person you're caregiving for, they're doing great. And then there's a time that maybe they're going to need some type of a care facility or going into a different situation. And within that sloppy area is where 911 lives. So in that situation, we can help you. If we're coming to your caregiver person or your loved one's home to lift them from the bathroom to the chair, from the bed to the chair, that is not a good use of the emergency system. And it's hard because, again, the dignity of the patient, the dignity of the person is really what we're talking about. And if we're there on a regular basis, at some point, the paramedics, the first responders, they're going to talk with you, they're going to talk with us. We're going to help coordinate some kind of care decision-making process that takes the 911 emergency safety net and keeps it as that safety net. So when we get calls for facilities that they refuse to lift their patients or transfer them in any way, they call 911, they know the words to say, then we will respond generally with an ambulance or a rescue. And then that takes them away from any surrounding emergency call because they're lifting or caring for your client or your patient or someone in a facility. So one of the things we need you to consider is if it gets to the point where you're starting to use 911 for a routine situation, then that's probably when we need to help you. Now, those are decisions that are hard to make. They're hard to deal with. But again, those are conversations that you can start having. And so when we talk about that, the number one thing we want to know is, why did they fall? Did they fall unwitnessed, witnessed? When you call 911 for a fall for your client or your loved one, answer the questions in the order that we give them, because we go through a set of nationally recognized medical protocols and we're able to determine. Now, for any United States 911 center, we take that information and we will type that into our system. And in Pinellas County, it takes about 30 seconds from you calling 911 for us to start dispatching your help. But we may ask you up to 30 questions. And all of that information helps us determine what type of emergency response you need. It tells us maybe you need more people to come. So maybe we need to send a rescue and an ambulance, or an engine and a rescue, because we need more hands. Or we also can give a bunch of medical information that the paramedics are reading on the way to the call. Why is that important? Because again, if they're coming in for a lift assist, if they're coming in and someone is bleeding, if someone is having chest pains or difficulty breathing, they can carry in with them, especially if it's a high rise, especially if it's a large facility, they can carry in all the equipment they need to start treating you the minute they get on scene. So when you call 911, we're there for you. If you start using them on a weekly basis, on a regular basis for routine care, those are some things that you can talk to the paramedics, you can talk to the fire department, and you can talk to your primary care about solutions for not using, or in some cases, misusing the 911 emergency system. Now, that being said, I wanted to say it's almost Christmas. And right before Christmas, it's almost Black Friday. And what is the best thing to think about is, what are some things that you could give as gifts to your loved ones, to your family, to your people that you caregive for? If you have a number of people that you caregive for, wouldn't it be nice to give them maybe a list of the family and say, here's some of the things that would be super helpful, for this family to give as Christmas gifts. Now, don't tell my kids and all my family, but this year they're all getting brand new fire extinguishers and smoke detectors. So I always say to the kids, open up your gifts all at once, because the first kid that opens it, everybody knows what they get. Because I find it's just easy to give them some kind of a safety item every year. So one of the things I would suggest is, if you have, again, someone that you care for, your caregivers, the little weights, little weights and a little bit of a thing that you can exercise your hands, or even using just a soup can to exercise your hands. And the reason why I say that is because, if you have a fall and you cannot grip the counter or grip something or grip the handrail or the grab bar with enough strength to hold on, that may not help you in a fall. So being able to give them some small gifts, some small hand weights, a little exercise chart. The other thing I love are the night lights. So I have a bunch of little dogs at my house, and I have all the grandkids come over, and I need to see everything. So the things that I have motion activated lights. Now, these are outdoor lights. They're super bright, and they just sit on the floor in my hallways, in bedrooms, in the bathrooms. And so I can see when someone passes by them, whether it's me or a dog, all of this brightens up and lights up the area. There's also some really cool ones that have magnetic backs on them, all different types of night lights that are motion activated, that are light or bright. Even we talked about, Linda, I know you said you loved your little funny toilet light bulb that goes toilet bowl.
It's like a disco at night.
It is. And my grandkids loved it. And so it just fits in the toilet bowl, but it's so soft that it doesn't really blind you
No, it
when
doesn't
you're
wake
going
you
in.
up all the
Nope.
way. Yeah.
But it tells you exactly where to sit.
Yeah.
So again, these are super cute. They're $9. They're super cute, super easy to do. That's a gift that they could give. We talked about some fun little things. My grandkids love this as well. But I gave this to my mom because she just had a fall. I just got back this week from Arizona, helping her, find out why she fell. But I gave her one of these because, again, I wanted to make sure that she wasn't leaning over or getting dizzy when she fell. And so she was able to do that. The other thing on coming up with Black Friday is, I always talk to people about, especially if you don't live super close or if you're caring for someone, here's a couple things that I completely recommend. Having some type of an Alexa or Google Home device that you also on an Alexa, and that's the one we use all the time in my house, not promoting it, but just saying it's the one I'm familiar with. If I'm not sure, I can drop in to any of my Alexas and I can listen and I can talk and say, hey, I can tell the dogs to stop barking. Or I can say to my kids, what are you doing in the fridge? And they'll yell back, I'm hungry. I came over to grab something. So if I know that someone's in the house, I can drop in on them. So the other thing I have is the camera system that I have on my phone. So I have a Blink camera system. All the cameras are on the floor. They're for my dogs so that I can watch because I do senior dog care. So I want to know that they're okay. But think about if you had, for someone that you were caring for, you said to them, listen, I've got some small little portable cameras. We're going to put them throughout the house. We can put them up high or you can put them down low. And if I call you on the phone and I don't hear from you, you don't pick up the phone, I'm going to then use my Alexa that we have in your house and I'm going to drop in and listen to see if I can hear you. I'm going to try to chat with you. If I don't respond back, if I don't hear from you, then I'm going to go on and turn the cameras on and see where you are. Because then I may see that you are on the floor. Or maybe I'm going to see that I couldn't hear you or you couldn't speak, or I'm going to hear that, look, she's watching TV in the living room and her phone is on silent. But at least before I get in my car and drive over, I have listened on the Alexa, I've dropped in, I've called you on the phone, and then also I've looked on the cameras. Those are a really good way or things that you can buy for Christmas. The nice thing is if you do teach them this technology, and my gosh, my 2-year-old grandson taught me some technology on my phone. I went, what? You too? And he showed me how to enlarge a picture on my phone. So the age of these kids that can come in and fix your stuff is amazing. But one of the things I would say is that teach them that they could be sitting in the chair and they could say, Alexa, call my daughter, or Alexa, call Lori, or whatever. And then they would call. You then can have a conversation sitting back and forth in the chair. They don't have to run for the phone. They don't have to go find it. They can simply make that connection. They also, there's one thing that I would love for you to write down, and we'll put this in the chat so you can remember this too, is we have a program in Pinellas, but it has been adopted throughout the United States and in most areas have adopted what we call rapid SOS. That means that if you call 911 from your cell phone, we know where you are about 5 feet around where you're standing, but we can also track you. We can also see if you're moving. But there is a program that if you go to the website, www.emergencyprofile.org, you then can put in that person's cell phone number, home phone number, whatever it is. And if that phone calls 911, you can put in all of the medical information, the caregiver information. In my case, it's my 3 kids are listed with their phone numbers, only because one's a police officer and one's a nurse. So, I got it made at my house, right? But at the same time, I also have 2 dog sitters because if I have to go to the hospital, I need someone to come in and take care of the dogs. So I also have the code to the front door. And one of the suggestions I have for Christmas is if your person, your loved one, or the person you care for does not have a locking keypad, that's a great gift because we then at the 911 center can give the code to the fire department through emergencyprofile.org. If they call us, we then can get all of that information. So while we're dispatching help, we then can call the caregiver. We can call any of the neighbors to say, oh, the neighbor has the key. Could you meet us? So one operator will be calling all the emergency contacts to let them know something's happening. And the other one will be able to dispatch the call, be able to talk to them and answer questions and ask you questions. So emergencyprofile.org is good for anyone. I suggest that everybody puts that information. It's like the vial of life, but it's tied to your phone. The only way I can access it through 911 is if you call me, and then I then can look at the profile. I can also send that information to the responding crew members so they can be looking at your health history, your medications, the front door lock, so that they can get on scene, get straight to the patient, and start providing the appropriate care. So
Can you
those
repeat
are,
the name of that, please?
it's emergencyprofile.org.
You'll put it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
So the emergencyprofile.org, you set up your account, you would register it by the phone number, and then you're able to put in all of that information. Why is that important? Because when we come on the scene, the more information that we have, the quicker we can treat the patient and move forward with care, whether it be taking them to a facility, to a hospital, or whether it's providing the assessment. So the other things that we can do for you is that if you live in Pinellas County, I can provide you a password and a link to the Saving Claire documentary. If you live outside of it, we can provide you with the contacts for that information to get those types of programs. We also have some amazing steps to senior safety activity, adult coloring book. We've got a bunch of handout materials. So if you live in Pinellas County, you can contact one of us and we will make arrangements to either send or deliver you a pack of the information we have, including night lights, all of the steps to senior safety, the HomeFit, the 6 steps, the after a fall, all of the things that you might need. We can send it to you or we can deliver it to you in Pinellas. If you're outside of Pinellas, we would love to share those links with you and you can print those and provide those in your areas anywhere in the United States that we'd like to. So with Black Friday coming up, some great sales on ramps, on grab bars, on night lights, on anything that kind of brightens up the area, make sure that you're safe, making sure you prevent the call, and then being able to have emergency services there for you at any time. When in doubt, call 911. Don't wait, call us first. You know, we have a number of times that people will call and say, I fell yesterday and now all of a sudden I can't move, or I'm having this pain, or something's happening. And they are then very, very ill or very sick. So we hope that you never have a fall. We hope that you never have to call 911. But if you do, we are there. We will take the information. We will provide you the highest level of care and service, and that's anywhere in the United States. But I wanted to say thank you, and I hope that we have a few minutes that we can answer any questions for you. But if you take our emails down through the chat, if you email us, we'll provide you as much information and everything that we have available, we will get to you. So any questions or thoughts?
There were two messages in the chat. Someone said, just to let you know, the VA will help with grab bars and ramps. We have one placed by our sliding door from lanai to the inside of the home. And that is a very important thing. Call the prosthetics department. If you are getting VA benefits from the VA, there are a slew of grants available from $2,500 all the way up to over 90,000. 103,000. It keeps on raising every October. But yeah, I'm sure that the next speaker is going to be from the VA and will enlighten you on that. But yes, the VA is there to help you, and the prosthetics department is to call.
Someone just text me a message. They live in a senior manufactured home park, and would you gals be interested in going there and doing a presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure, I hope that person's still on. They heard the answer. If not, I know who the person is, and I will email them. And they can call any of you ladies, I'm sure, to set it up, right?
Absolutely. And then the other comment was that the hospice store are good places to visit. They have wonderful, helpful equipment donated from all type of people. And that's from Joseph Paoletti. Thank you, Joseph.
And somebody just said, Linda, can you mention the stove safety equipment we use for my mom? Do you guys, girls, know about that? Can you speak about that? You put it on, and can you explain that, please?
Well, it's an automatic shut off. You know, people with dementia, Alzheimer's have historically a problem with cooking and then forgetting that something's on the stove, and it causes fires. Okay, causes a lot of smoke, can cause a lot of problems. But if no one is there, if there's no movement in front of the stove for a certain amount of time, then it will shut off automatically. There's also infrared stoves that is hot when the pan is on. Okay, but when the pan is removed, it's cool to the touch. So if they accidentally put their hand on the burner, okay, there will be no problem. There's also ovens, okay, especially for people in wheelchair walkers, okay, that as you open the oven door, it slides in underneath the oven into the wall so that you have a clear a place to take something out of the oven. Okay.
Wow.
Oven door can be a problem. Dishwasher doors can be a problem. There's slide out dishwashers that look like it's just comes right out of the cabinet. Okay.
Yeah.
But there are so many things I could go on and on and on about that are there for helpful. And every day someone is inventing something new. That's what's so exciting.
Yeah.
Something happening new every single day.
Yeah, well, we're living so much longer than we ever did. So we have a huge aging population, and we need to take care of them. That's my intention.
And you're doing a darn good job.
Thanks. Okay, ladies, it was great seeing you all today. I'm so glad that you're here. I'll see you soon. Have a delicious day.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.